That would help if I put the audio on. Hello!
Hello.
Welcome, everybody, to the Midweek Mix-Up Weekend Edition. Hope everyone's having an awesome weekend. Had an awesome weekend. If you've been watching the Premier League football, if you are a football fan, I hope you enjoyed the final game of the season. Otherwise,
Not me.
yeah, Jen, I know Jen doesn't. Otherwise, of course, we will be discussing some awesome game news and then our Halo Season 1 review. Ended on a really positive note, thankfully. Really good end to the season. But before we get into that, Jen, my awesome co-host, how are you doing today, brother?
Hello.
What have you been up to?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Played a bit of Evil Dead today and yesterday. At the beginning of the week, I played a little bit of it as well. Played with Berserker this. Been having a laugh on that with them. Played a lot of Hunt Showdown as well. Completion video for that should be coming in a couple of weeks' time. I've got a few more clips I need to grab just to pad out the video a little bit more. Otherwise, it's just going to be a short one.
Yeah.
So that's coming along. Streaming as usual. Just been having a good time, yeah. Having a blast streaming. Obviously, Hunt Showdown's my main game, so I stream that quite frequently, as well as a few other things. Yeah. What about yourself, mate? How you been?
Nice. Yeah, I've been a little bit better. I was quite fatigued this week, so Tuesday onwards I just took a break after the Sea of Thieves stream, and then of course yesterday, I did a podcast with Game On Daily, Gaz, of course, and Asa. It was awesome to get back in the swing of things there a little bit. Other than that, I've been playing a bit more Flight Sim. I think everybody's seen that.
Yeah, you had your stream the other day where you was playing with I can't remember his name now.
Curly Toes.
Curly Toes, that's
Yes.
the one. Yeah, I caught a bit of that. That was pretty fun to watch. You were both flying around in Spitfires, right?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that was good. You had a few good parking parking issues.
I think it's a perfect parking.
Yeah, it was pretty funny to watch. Perfectly parked.
Perfect. It's exactly how I meant it. No, it's been awesome, and of course playing a little bit of Halo and things I think this week, and a little bit more of Iden Chronicles. But yeah, it's been all right. It's been a bit more of a chilled week. I'm looking forward to getting a little bit more gaming in. I've been in a little bit of a funk with gaming at the minute where I can't really be bothered.
Yeah, we all get like that.
Yeah.
I'm like it from time to time. Some weeks I just want to watch TV rather than play games in my spare time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Shout out to Barely Making Rent for starting Mass Effect for the first time. That's it.
For the first time. We'll enjoy that because the first time is always the sweetest.
Yeah. And I hope sincerely it's on the Legendary Edition one where it's got all of them in one and they've got the enhancements and things because that's awesome. I think it's in Game Pass, that isn't it?
I think so, in the EA Play section.
Yeah. So yeah, enjoy it if you are playing that.
I started replaying it myself, but I just couldn't get back into it. It's like it's not the same when you've experienced it before.
Yeah, I was exactly
trying to re-experience it with rose tinted goggles is not the same feeling.
No, exactly. I'm exactly the same, to be honest, and I got it when it came out before it went out to EA Access because my mate's a huge Mass Effect fan, so I got it obviously for game sharing purposes, and so I think he's played them all through and got all the achievements and things, but nah, can't be bothered. It's too much time. It's like such huge games.
As much as they're amazing games, I just find it hard to get through them again.
Yeah.
I started the first one, it must have been near the beginning of this year when it first came to Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I don't think I got even 5 hours into it, and I was like, do I really want to go through all this again?
Yeah.
And I give up. So
yeah, I've been exactly the same.
Great games. I'm more interested in the new one that's coming in the near future, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see how good that turns out to be. And just before I started as well, I was playing a little bit of Age of Empires 4. It's always good to just have a quick round of that.
I still haven't tried it out. I keep meaning to.
You need to. You need to. Once you've got used to it a little bit, we'll have a little 1v1 skirmish. See how you cope.
I'll lose for sure. So
No, it's good. And Bailey making rent. Actually, I can get some comments up here. Actually, he says, "What do you guys think of Andromeda?" I actually liked Andromeda. It wasn't as bad as people made out, but then again, I'm not like a mega fan of Mass Effect in the first place. Like, I'm not one of these people that worship Mass Effect. So, from what I played, considering I'm not a mega fan, it was decent. It was probably better.
I
Felt
didn't
better
play
to
much
me
of
than the
it,
previous
to be
games.
honest. I got it on PS4.
Yeah.
And I didn't really enjoy it that much. There was a lot of issues. I don't know if it was with just the PS4 version or what, but I had a lot of issues with the game, so kind of never went back to it. I played it for like a couple of hours, and I was like, it's a bit janky for me,
Yeah.
a bit buggy,
That's
and
fair.
just I never went back to it.
That's fair. That's fair. So how are you enjoying Evil Dead then? Playing co-op a little bit more? Playing a little bit more team?
There's still a lot of balancing issues that I think they need to fix, and they obviously will fix over time.
Yeah.
Playing as the survivors actually can be a lot of fun when you've got a decent group of people that know what they're doing. There's been a few sessions that I've had with Berserker this where we won 3 games in a row. But that's when you get decent players that kind of know what they're doing and stick together.
Yeah.
And then you get that one game where the 2 other random members they want to walk off and do whatever they want. And that really ruins it for you because they get targeted, they get killed, and then they disconnect because they kind of get a bit pissy that you're not helping them out, but you're not the one that's running off doing God knows what elsewhere. You're the one doing the objective. So yeah, that can be frustrating.
That's the thing with some like multiplayer team games, and you tend to find that everywhere. Specific if you go, for instance, even looking at Halo, if you go into Halo big team battle with a full team, like an actual full team that takes up the entire 12 men, you're likely to win because everyone's coordinated and everyone can speak to each other. If you go into big team battle just as a 4-man team, you lose. Like, unless your entire team knows what they're doing and is willing to work the objective, you're going to lose.
So that's what it's like on Evil Dead at the moment. There's a lot of balancing issues. When a team works together effortlessly, the demon can really get messed over quick.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some people out there that we've played against today that it felt like they didn't have a clue what they were doing as a demon. So we walked all over them before they could even reach threat level 4 or 5 as a demon. We already had all 3 pages of the map to find out where the dagger and the book pages were.
Okay.
And by then, we're already over near the pages in the book. So there's a lot of balancing issues. And I think the tutorial needs to be a bit better for the demon. Yeah. Because I can see how it can get confusing for people that are not so used to being the demon. But yeah, it's a mixed bag, that game, but for some reason I'm addicted to it at the moment. Not as addicted to it as Hunt Showdown, because I don't think anything's ever going to pull me away from Hunt Showdown permanently. But the fun factor, I think, about Evil Dead is quite addicting. And no matter what side you're playing on, whether it's the demon or the survivors, there's a lot of fun to be had there, especially if you have a decent team of survivors.
Yeah. A nice Hunt question for you from Bailey Making Rent. Does Hunt Showdown have a similar learning curve?
Hunt Showdown, as much as I love the game, it does have a tough learning curve. It took me about 200 hours to get used to that game fully. My KD was atrocious on PC. Up until around the 200 or 300 hour mark, when I was around about 0.6 something KD, and I struggled like hell to get that KD back up, and luckily I did. Took me about 700 hours in total to do that. I'm back at 1.26 KD now.
Yeah.
So it's definitely got a learning curve. The learning curve with the weapons can be difficult because not all the weapons work the same way, and kind of like Halo. The reticle isn't central to the screen like it is with games like Call of Duty. It's slightly below, so you've got to get used to where you're shooting really, really well. But yeah, it's quite the learning curve. There's even things about the game that I learn while I'm playing it now, and I'm close to 1,000 hours in that game.
And
I'm
as
like, holy
Smooth
shit, I
Dog
didn't even
said,
know that.
as Smooth Dog said, the learning curve never stops either. You're done with the tutorial after 1,000 hours.
Smooth Dog is my hunt partner. It's that's my good friend from Norway, Smooth Dog. He's my hunt showdown partner most of the time.
Awesome
We're quite the formidable team.
Thanks as well to Stuff Show for 3 months as a channel member there. Of course, our channel members are live. If you want to become a channel member, please do so. Of course, it helps just support our ongoing streams and paying for all these streams to be out as glorious as they are, and any upgrades and that we do to make these shows better for you. But he says, following on from the Halo finale, if you could meat puppet someone and take over their body, who would it be? He says, I'd be Papa Phil's to get a peek.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Take over
I gotta
who?
read that again.
Take over
Following on from
anybody
the
in the
Halo
world?
finale, if you could meat puppet someone and take over their body, who would it be?
Unless he means take a peek at season 2. I don't know. If you could take over anybody in the Halo universe, who would it be?
Master Chief.
Master Chief, of course.
It's got to be Master Chief. He's the most iconic, isn't he? He is the face of Halo.
I'd be the other guy, the beefcake guy. I forgot his name.
Vanek.
Vanek, yeah. I'd take him over.
I love him. He's got some quality one-liners.
He's a tank. And then there's another one, a little question there about Halo. The game on this sense, do you think Halo is dead or can they revive it? It's not dead. It's not dead. It's not dead. It severely needs content is what it needs. As soon as it's got, even if you say it, put another 4 or 5 maps in it, it's automatically got a boost because you add them into the already circling rotation. A couple more game modes and you're golden. I think what it also needs though is more customization options. Even the store needs updated. You're talking about a game that's free to play with some transactions, etc.
I don't know what it is, but a lot of the content in the store feels really bland.
Yeah,
it feels bland.
Yeah,
like half of the stuff I'm like, I can't be bothered to buy that. It's nothing that's appealing to me. Yeah, and the other half of the stuff is fairly decent and mixed between fairly decent and all right. But yeah, the store needs some work. They need some people putting out some actual content that's appealing in the store.
But like I say, it's like cosmetics. Like, why would you have a free-to-play game and then have 0 cosmetics to buy? None. Like, it sounds stupid asking for microtransactions, but when you've got a free-to-play game and it's essentially all about
it's a live service game, you'd expect it.
It's all about looking different. You would surely put some stuff in there that's fancy that isn't in the regular battle pass that people can buy, and there's just nothing other than like adding flames to your arms and a flamey collar or a halo or something stupid every now and again because they don't keep everything in the store, they just rotate it out, which has always baffled me.
I think they need to overhaul that and maybe do a larger sort of list of items and such.
They need to add it. They need to actually get a proper store in there, a proper store. They'd make fortunes.
You see it on Twitter. There's so many talented artists out there that have created some really cool looking armor just through the means of Photoshop and other sort of Photoshop like services, and they make some crazy good looking stuff that feels like it could just go right into the game.
Yeah.
Why are they not hiring that talent?
Yeah.
That's like an untapped resource there. They should be going, oh, we want to take you on to create some stuff for Halo, like whether it be armor or helmets. There's so many talented people out there. It's unreal.
No,
you always see some real cool independent artwork from people that love Halo.
Yeah.
And they come up with some crazy unique stuff. Put it to use. Or just pay them for their designs. Be like, oh, we love this design of this Spartan that you've made.
Yeah.
Here's some money. Can we use that?
Yeah.
It's not like they haven't got the money.
Yeah. Quick shout out to Silent Cypher. He's a member for 2 months as well. What's your most anticipated E3 announcement or reveal? Thanks for the show, guys.
That's a hard one. Because I'm going to say Halo ODST 2, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So far, what do you think? Out of the more realistic ones.
I just want to see Starfield. I know it's not coming this year. I just want to see it. That's what I'm eagerly anticipating. Because I know however much they show, it's going to excite me for the game even more.
Yeah. And mine is Hellblade.
Yeah.
Hellblade release date
I would,
and Hellblade gameplay, combat gameplay.
I would agree with that as well.
Yes, I'll be a happy man. As long as I see that, I'll be happy overall. Of course, the show needs to really hit out the park following the delays that we've got. So we've got nothing so far this year. Fingers crossed, Microsoft, Xbox, Bethesda surprise us, and there is something that's dropping this year. We can hope.
There has to be. There has to be.
There has to be something. There might be a backup plan.
You don't confidently delay it after showing off that you were at Bethesda Studios without a backup plan, surely.
Yeah.
They
you would hope so. You would
have
hope
something.
So. You would hope
I feel like that's why it was delayed, because they were confident enough that something else
They've got other things.
Not take its place, but fill the void.
Yeah. We've got some other good shouts as well in the chat there, actually. Going back to Halo, when I have a look at that. Smooth Dog said he would be a grunt just running around squealing. Bailey Making Rent said exactly the same thing there. I think they'll announce some stuff at the showcase. VR Brain Surgeon says, I don't think of it as dead. I don't like how the updates are bug fixes. They really do need to get some more updates. That's fair. Uru Lockett says, I think Forge would bring Infinite back. Do you think so? Yeah, Forge is an absolute major plus. And from what I've heard, for what they're doing for Forge as well, when it does come out, it's essentially an infinite content loop, because it is including, and this is why Forge has taken so long, it's including every asset from every Halo game that's ever been. So
I think
of course, not
this
Wars.
Forge toolset is going to be insane.
Yeah. So this Forge toolset is going to be next level, so it's
obviously
worth the
why
wait,
they're taking
but it's
this
a shame
one.
it's taken so bloody long. What else did we have?
So the thing is, there's also like the Forge community is huge, and there's like a whole dedicated group of the community that just Forge.
Yeah. Billy Making Rent says, let us play as elites. Yep, bring that back.
That is something I'd like to return, but I think that'll be a way out.
Yeah.
That'll be like way later on, maybe 2 years later.
Yeah. And then also one of the last one, he says, dual wielding rocket launchers.
Why not?
Why not? Crazy. Let's go crazy. But yes. Let's get into this week's news. So there has been, surprisingly, there has been a little bit of news come out this week. One of them is that much smaller article, but it is a little bit of good news. Stalker 2 has definitely recommenced production. Still slated for 8th of December release so far.
It's good that those developers are okay and getting somewhere back on track now.
You know what? It begs the question, though, to me, and I'm going to call out Microsoft again here. If a company who is directly affected by an actual war is able to shift their offices and move offices into an entirely different country, resume game development, and get a game out by the 8th of December this year, whilst in the middle of a war zone, Microsoft have some serious questions to answer if they cannot get any games out this year.
Definitely, yeah.
It's the only thing I'll put on that. I'm sorry, if the Stalker 2 devs, GCS Game World, I think they're called, or GSC Game World, are able to do that whilst in the middle of a war, they need to shake their heads a bit. 100%.
Exactly. There's no excuse.
Nope.
If a company that's like been affected by a war can pick up the pace and get straight back to where they sort of left off,
Yeah.
and still feel like the game is coming this year, then yeah, you really need to take a leaf out of their books.
Yep. 100%. 100%. But yes, so that was a little bit of good news anyway on that side. So fingers crossed we still see Stalker by 8th of December. It's good to hear that they're safe, sound, and back doing something that's taken their minds off a grittier thing that's going on at the moment, which is, of course, the war. Next little bit of news, we'll start with a little news. And this isn't a slight on Sony. We're not talking about Sony here, but the Xbox Series S. And of course, the news article states outsold PlayStation in Japan last week. The outsold PlayStation isn't the section I want to look at there. The bit that I'm focusing on is the fact that the Series S sold 6,000 units last week. Series X only sold 100 and odd units. PlayStation sold 2,000 units or something like that. But it's just the sheer fact that Xbox is actually starting to get a little bit more momentum in that country again now.
I think that little tiny beast of a console is really appealing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of apartment sort of houses there are tiny, and their spaces are not so designed for such a big console like a Series X or a PlayStation 5. So it kind of makes it more appealing that you got this tiny little box device that just sits in your display cabinet and fits there perfectly.
Yeah.
As I've got 2 Xbox Series X's, and the one that we have in the living room looks terrible in a display unit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So instead, I've put it up on top of, like, I think it's a subwoofer, but the subwoofer's never used, so it's just like basically sitting on top of that. It sort of just blends in, kind of looks like a big speaker.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, the Series X isn't the sleekest and most beautiful designed console. It's the beast.
Yes, it is.
Great console. I'm not slagging off the console. The console's amazing. I have 2 of them, so yeah.
A little quick shout out to Uwu Lockett there in chat as well. He says, I remember a game I played a few years back called A Way Out. It's a split screen game. You make choices and break out of prison. It ends in such a sad way. If you have played A Way Out and you want a game that's better in every way, then play It Takes Two. Me and Jen played through that on charity stream pretty much all the way through.
I think we had like 1 level to go.
Our game of the year. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it was a great game.
I would happily play through that again. But me and Jen both need to play through A Way Out.
Yep, we do.
But yes, 100% play A Way Out. It is well worth every minute. Such an unbelievable game. But yeah, back to the news. It's great to just see them, and I've spoke about this yesterday as well on Game On Daily, but it's great to see Japan starting to get the word of mouth around about Xbox again, and that seems to be the case. If you have a look on Twitter alone, the Japanese guys aren't involved in console war. They just share what their favorite things are. And when they do pick them up and show off their console, there's just more discussions from Japanese gamers underneath saying, okay, what did you get with it and what did you get with it? And they're all mentioning Game Pass, and they tell them how many games they get in Game Pass, and then they all go out and they're just like, oh, that's interesting. And then they understand how much it is and how cheap it is, and more of them are starting to pick it up, and it's becoming a little bit more noticeable. And yeah, it's just a small,
especially if you get the all access thing.
Yeah,
such a small. Is it 2 years of Game Pass with that?
2 years of Game Pass, yeah. Such a small foothold for Microsoft, but it's a Western company trying to make a dent in a Japanese market, which is difficult enough as it is. You're never going to get on par with PlayStation and Nintendo in Japan. It's never going to happen. But the fact that they're actually managing to get a foothold again, and get some positive sentiment around the console and platform again, I think is speaks testament to their efforts over in Japan.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So hats off to them. Now they just need to improve their advertisement abilities in Europe and their localization worldwide, and I think we'll be all set in terms of other things.
So I guess Rabbit Quest was asking me why I need 2 Series X's. I have one in the living room and I have one in my studio where I do all my streaming and content creation.
But
So
also, let's be honest, the reason a
And
lot of us got a second
the other one's a Halo console.
yeah, it's because it's the Halo Limited Edition. The vast majority of us pre-ordered a second one. I got the Halo Limited Edition for a friend, so I got a second one as well. Obviously not for me, but I did get a second one. I've got the Series X there, and I have the Series S here. Series S is an absolute beast. Don't underestimate it. The Series S, I would happily. So, for instance, if you've got a Series X on your main TV or your main gaming section, but you want another console for around the house, I would recommend just if you want little consoles elsewhere or you want consoles elsewhere, and you obviously just Xbox specifically, just get a few Series S's. You can get 2 Series S's for the price of a Series X.
Yeah, I'm looking at picking up a Series S pretty soon because I want a console for my bedroom, and I don't want to pay out for another Series X. So
yeah,
I'll
Series
just get
S
the
is
Series S, and that'll do me.
Yeah, it is. It's like as Barely Making Rent says, it's backpack size. It is. It is definitely backpack size. It's absolutely tiny.
Yeah, that's another reason why I want to grab one as well. So just there's that chance where I go on holiday and I want to take a console with me.
Yeah.
It slips right into my luggage quite well because it's so small.
Yeah. At some point, I want to pick up a second one and get the X screen. So I've got one that is ready essentially to just pick up and go. That isn't really customized because obviously mine is customized top and bottom, so it can't lay down anymore. It's got some 3D elements to it, so impossible.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Is that PlayStation plates sort of behind you? PS5 plates?
Yes.
Are you doing a custom job on them?
I am.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, just to kind of give a rough idea as to the size of the PlayStation 5, if you don't have one yet, it is huge. And that is not including the stand. That thing is a bad lad. That is big. Really big.
I noticed it when you were on Go Live yesterday.
Well,
and I was like, is that PlayStation plates?
I was going to say 2 seconds. I'll give you a good brief example compared to the Series X.
Oh my god.
That's a big
That
boy.
thing is a beast. I need to get me a PS5 at some point as well.
Yeah.
I'm in no rush. I'll grab that hopefully when God of War comes out. Hopefully there'll be more available by then.
Yeah. So that's without the stand. So it's going to be taller when you've got the stand on, which is essentially required for air circulation. And yeah, it's just huge, massive. It is huge. It is the PlayStation 4 Pro is not small by any means. That's still relatively large, especially when you're standing it up. But this is taller, much taller, as you can see. The PlayStation 4 Pro is there, and there's a PlayStation 5 there. Woo! So yeah, it's a big boy. It's a big. I'm looking forward to it. No, you didn't miss the Halo chat yet, Scott. We're going to do the Halo chat shortly. We're going to cover a little bit more gaming news actually now. So acquisition season is continuing. We've got 2 of them there. So Take-Two have said that they are not looking to get acquired.
For now.
They're quite comfortable being independent. They're all right. However, it's essentially up to the shareholders. It's a shareholder-run company. They do things for the shareholders, the greedy corporate shareholders. So it's never really out the books because if someone comes in with a big offer that tempts the shareholders, then it's sold. But
yeah, I agree with that.
But who?
I don't see them selling for now, but
And who would buy them?
If the time comes and
Who would buy
someone
them?
lays down a hefty check on their table and they go, oh, that's a nice looking check there, and shareholders go, yeah, we'll have a piece of that.
Yeah.
Then money talks, doesn't it? So.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And then the next one, because that one's pretty small, they've essentially said, we're happy being independent. It's a shareholder-run company, so it's essentially saying we're not really bothered. Like, we're not proactively looking to sell. But if it comes to it, then it comes to it.
I wouldn't see them selling.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of money off of GTA 5 still. Do they need to think about selling at the moment?
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with that.
As much as I hate GTA 5 and what it stands for.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm trying to move your camera around and kind of get a little bit more aligned, but then I've messed it up a bit now, but fuck it. I'll just leave it there. It's going to be a little bit off for the rest, but that'll do. Next one was EA, which is a little bit more of a surprise. What does GTA 5 stand for? Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5.
It stands for trash.
Yeah, it stands for money grabbing, money shark cards. Bastards.
They should just call it game ATM because it prints fucking money.
Yes. Game
it's ridiculous.
In terms of EA, that's a bit of a different story, however. EA are essentially proactively trying to shop themselves around, find a buyer. They have...
Didn't think they'd be doing that anytime soon.
Yeah.
So that's surprising.
Oh, massively surprising. It's even more surprising considering they are essentially looking to talk to it's the likes of Amazon, Apple, Disney.
Didn't they enter a deal with a company, but it fell through?
Who was that?
Or am I thinking of a completely different studio?
I think it was a different one, yeah. Oh, no, actually, you're right. I think EA was going to... It was, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
It did fall through months ago.
It was I don't think it was even a games company, was it?
NBC, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
It was NBC. You're right, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was proposing to merge with NBC, but that fell through. But they have been in contact with Apple, Amazon, Disney, among others. So they are actively looking to sell. Yeah. Now,
would Disney want to merge with the likes of EA though? I don't think so.
Disney aren't looking. Disney have already got rid of their development studios and they've farmed out their IP. They're not interested in actually developing games themselves. They just want people to look after their IPs and develop good games. So I can't. Disney's never. I don't think they're ever in the boat. What about Tencent or someone like that? Do you think they would be active for it? What about Amazon? Who do you think would be if it was someone? Because it's not going to. Essentially, EA would cost 40 billion, around about that 40 billion mark.
I don't see Xbox even touching that at the moment.
No.
As much as they might want to, they're going to stay away from that right now.
They can afford to. They've got this surplus cash that they're looking to spend.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'd go for it. Sony can't afford 40 billion. They can't. Not in terms of cash. They couldn't buy out a company for 40 billion or more.
I expect it to either be Amazon or Tencent.
Yeah. Yeah, Amazon, Tencent.
Those
Google,
are the two likely ones.
Google got rid of their stuff.
Exactly. They've just literally pulled their toes out of the pool. So, and they had their toes dipped in for a little while. They still got Stadia kicking somehow.
Yeah.
But they're not making their own moves with Stadia. That's more of games come to Stadia. That's it. They don't have any exclusivity there, really.
Yeah. So. Another thing as well, like they've just lost one of their largest franchises anyway. Like, granted, FIFA were greedy bastards and asked them for 500 million to renew the IP and the license for FIFA. and which naturally they said no, hell no, and I'm paying you $500 million for the license. It's
Makes me think though, are they close to losing Madden as well? Maybe
Yeah.
they're. I don't even know when the Madden deal would renew because I don't really play sports games. But if that is coming up to renew anytime soon, and the NFL will probably expect a big old renewal of the license. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to sell before things get bad because maybe they expect all these sports sort of companies are going to want to renew with a hefty sum.
Yeah. The robots win says couldn't Meta buy EA. Facebook, they probably could buy them, but would they? I don't think so.
I don't know. I think the likelihood is Amazon or Tencent. They're the two I expect.
Yeah.
Unless EA just go, we're going to sell everything off individually, or they remain independent.
Yeah. Mav says Andrew Wilson wants to remain in control of the company. So essentially merging with another company but retain control. So he wants a sugar daddy. Essentially. He wants a sugar daddy company that's going to help them with developments and costs and things like that, but still keep the company himself and remain in control. That's very complicated.
Hopefully Elon Musk doesn't want to break into gaming, bring out the Tesla console.
Oh dear God. Please no.
Integrated with Twitter.
You know what it is? The horrible thing about that, though, is he's got such a rabid fan base, Elon Musk, that if he did bring a console out, it would probably do relatively well.
Yeah. I don't think he would, though. But then again, who the hell knows with that man?
Yeah,
I didn't think he was going to buy Twitter, to be honest, but he tried to. Well, has that been put on pause or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And he said,
I don't know.
fun. Mav,
I mean, it would be funny.
Mav says again, what about Epic? I don't think Gabe Newell really gives a shit at the minute. I think he's getting to the stage very soon where he's thinking about getting out of the game entirely. So it really depends on what. But actually, not Gabe Newell. It's not. That's Steam, man.
Sweeney, Tim Sweeney, is it?
Sweeney, would Sweeney buy Epic? Would he get it? I was thinking Steam for a second there. Would they?
I don't know.
Would Epic go for it? I don't know. I don't think so.
If they merge together, maybe.
Possibly, but would it benefit them?
I have no ideas.
You've got to think from the Epic perspective. What benefits would they get from merging with EA?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I don't think I'd expect
outside of the studios, which would make some awesome games. What benefits would they have?
Fortnite, Battlefield characters in Fortnite.
Oh my God. To be fair, I'd get a Battlefield character in Fortnite because at least I'd look normal.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't expect Epic to merge with them. I honestly think it'll be Tencent or Amazon. They're the two big ones I expect.
Yeah.
To be foaming at the mouth to get these right now.
Yeah. It's certainly an interesting few months, let's say, for especially going into next year. If the Microsoft Blizzard Activision acquisition goes through, and new updates from Microsoft representatives are saying it's moving fast for a deal of its size. They're still answering questions, but they're getting to the end of the beginning and looking to start the beginning of the middle very soon. So essentially the beginning part is the question they've taken, the answering questions, anything that needs answered. And after that, then they get into more ensuring kind of all the I's and T's are crossed and anything in the middle. Before then, what they would class as the final part, which is signatures. So if they get into the end of the question-taking section, then the deal could be done possibly by year end, going at the beginning of the year. But they say it's
That's
going.
what I was thinking as well. Maybe done by November, December time.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. It's going to be interesting.
And there was that thing that surfaced online about Sony with their shareholders and stuff, where they were showing off their marketing deals for the year, and Call of Duty wasn't in that.
Yep. There was actually
That was interesting to me.
I think I was going to say I think personally for the marketing thing there, I think they just don't want to. Well, actually no, because there was a good point brought up yesterday as well. Originally, my thinking was they might be just intentionally not advertising it because they don't know what's happening with the Activision Blizzard thing, so they're just not putting it on there. But then
that's a good point. Yeah,
there is also, after Modern Warfare 2, which is coming out this year, there is no other game next year. There is no game next year, so there isn't a marketing deal that takes them through next year.
Yeah, that's what made me think maybe Sony have cut ties early because there isn't a game coming next year. So I don't know. It's interesting. We kind of need answers for it. But that also brings me to the point: is if that does happen, could we see, or could Xbox have made a deal to get the new Call of Duty and Game Pass day and date separately from what they're doing with Activision?
I mean, that would be big
with the buyout.
If they drop that at the showcase, that would be huge for Call of Duty fans. It would be, to be fair, it would be pretty big for me.
Make sense.
It'd be pretty big for me because I haven't picked up a Call of Duty for years and I had no intention of.
Yeah, the last Call of Duty I bought was Cold War for my dad.
Yeah,
that was for Christmas. But that also makes me think maybe could this be one of the reasons why they've given Starfield the extra time, because they know maybe Call of Duty's coming into Game Pass?
Possibly. There's a lot of things that will probably get answered next month, and I'm looking forward to it because it's only a matter of like 2 weeks away or less now. It's actually 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
2 or 3, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 50-50 there with that. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe Sony are holding off because they don't know what's going on because they've not been kept in the loop yet.
Yes.
I guess we'll find out. If they're going to announce Call of Duty, it's got to be soon, right?
You would think so. You would hope so. You'd certainly hope so.
So maybe we see it at the Xbox show.
Maybe. Maybe.
Do you know something, Dutch?
No. Another thing about Take-Two here as well, and going back to the previous thing where they said they wouldn't want to be acquired. Take-Two have said they will release over 30 games by 2025. That includes ports and remasters. So on that note, from Take-Two and their games, ports and remasters, if you could see a remaster of any game by Take-Two, what game would you like to see released?
I don't think you need to ask that question. Should I go get my cowboy hat? It's got to be Red Dead 2. Got to be. I would buy that again because of how good that was.
Red Dead 2?
And I'd want to play that in 60 FPS.
Oh, you mean like a Series X enhancement?
Yeah. And obviously the remake, Red Dead Redemption.
Yes, Red Dead 1 you mean. So Red Dead Redemption 1 remake.
Yeah. A remake of Red Dead Redemption and a remaster of Red Dead 2. Hopefully they come out around about the same time and they sell it as a twin pack.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Will you ever sell bathwater? No, I'm not Belle Delphine.
See, I'm going to just go with depends on how desperate I get. You never know. There's hard times for everyone. First of all, though, I'd need to get a bath because I only have a shower in my house. So.
Well, then you're just going to hold a cup. Hold a cup.
True. I just put a bucket in the shower and just let it all run into the bucket.
Oh dear. Yeah, just hold a cup underneath you if you haven't got it. Oh dear me, that's funny. Oh god. But yeah, what about the likes of Bully? Would you take Bully?
Yeah, I'd like to see a remake of Bully and a sequel of Bully, but I don't feel that that's going to happen because there was that rumor that there was the sequel in the works for quite some time, and apparently it got shit canned.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would like to see it, but hopefully it's not a GTA 5 remake.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Oh dear me.
It's just going to be 30 GTA 5 remakes and remasters.
Yeah.
For the Game Boy Advanced.
Oh, you just never know with Take-Two, though, do you? You just never know.
I know. As much as I'd like to see more Red Dead Redemption, I kind of feel like I don't care too much to make it because it's not.
I was going to say Scott's got a point, though. He says you're missing out on one of the greatest games of all time, Table Tennis 2. That was, to be fair, Rockstar's Table Tennis was tremendous.
Yeah, I remember having it on the 360, and Harry from Gamers Watch always bangs on about table tennis.
Yeah, it was good. I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Scott. It's a good shout.
I don't know with Take-Two. I feel like they're more interested in.
If it was historic Take-Two, yeah, that's fair enough. Modern Take-Two.
They're more interested in online games that can bring in milk loads of money.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the only concern I've got is this modern Take-Two Rockstar is not the one we used to know. They're more concerned now with how to put MTX into their games and shark cards and things like that. And because they didn't have a success with RDR Online and monetizing it, they just give up on it. And
exactly. And that disappointed me because that game could have had potential. They could have gone in the direction of doing some like mythical sort of stuff with Red Dead Online.
Yeah.
They had Undead Nightmare in the first Red Dead Redemption. They could have done an entire Undead Nightmare themed Red Dead Online.
Yeah. He's got a point as well, Scott.
New stuff
he says they've got to pay off that loan they took out to acquire Zynga. Yeah. You're right there. That's a big debt.
So that is definitely why all 30 of those games are going to be GTA 5.
Yeah, yeah, in different versions.
They're going to bring it to the Nintendo GameCube. They're going to bring it to the Apple smartwatch.
Yeah,
it's going to be on everything.
I'm going to bring it to your fridge.
All 30.
Yeah, everything that has a screen, GTA 5's releasing on it. That's the ports and remasters you're looking for.
Yep. GTA 5 in the metaverse. They're going to bring it to VR.
It's just everyone's sitting in strip clubs. That's all it's going to be.
They're going to bring GTA 5 into Red Dead Redemption 2, so it's there.
Yeah.
They're just going to start putting it in all the games. All the games. Just all the games.
All the games forever.
All the games for all the shark cards.
Yep. I'm going to add a little bit of gameplay spice to this stream. Little bit of flight sim whilst we talk. You might get it on your Fitbit soon. You never know. I wouldn't put
probably already there. I wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't put it past them. But yes, it's there's a lot of news, to be fair, that's coming out. Another one that you might be a little bit more interested in. You might not be, but you might be. Multiverses.
I am interested in it.
Yes.
I may or may not be playing it tomorrow because I have reached out for a code.
Yep.
Depending on if I get that code tomorrow, I'm going to be streaming it.
Sweet. So what do you make of Multiverses? What do you make of it?
It looks interesting. I mean, I'm a huge fan of DC, so I'm going to be playing as Batman, Superman, and if they've got the Flash in it at some point, I'll be playing as the Flash, not the Ezra Miller version because I think he's a prick.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so there's a lot of interesting characters there. They've got Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. They've got Shaggy, Ultra Instinct Shaggy from the bloody damn memes. They brought a meme version of Shaggy into their game,
Yeah.
and I want to play as him. They've got two characters from that cartoon Adventure Time, which I sort of grew up watching that. There's a load of characters in there that appeal to me. Tasmanian Devil, Harley Quinn. It's going to be an interesting game, and I think when it fully comes out, it's free to play, right?
It is free to play, yep. Which means it's going to be
Can't argue with free to play.
Character packs and microtransactions and things like that. It's a smart move, but also something now where they need to really pay attention to it as well and make sure that they keep bringing out the content on time.
I think it's going to be packed full of content. This is going to be the fighting game that I think is heavily inspired by Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
Because look at how many skins and characters that come to Fortnite that are from DC Comics, Marvel Comics, games like Halo, God of War, Gears of War. They've got characters from pretty much every franchise in Fortnite. It's become the world's biggest playable advert.
Yeah.
And they could do exactly the same with this multiverses.
It is.
If they want, they could reach out to...
Because obviously what they're trying to emulate is Smash Bros, but in the Warner Brothers DC universe.
Yeah.
And again, there's a big market there, because if you have a look at anywhere outside of Nintendo, there isn't a Smash Bros variant. I think Brawlhalla tried to do it, didn't they? I think it was called Brawlhalla. But
I think so.
That just had random characters that no one really cared about.
There was another game that tried to do it. I can't remember what it was called though.
I know you're going to get Wonder Woman in the game.
Multiverses, yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to have Wonder Woman, Batman. You could have Robin. You could have all them different characters. You could have
I think, everyone wanted to see Master Chief in Smash.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a nice, tasty little Xbox deal, and Master Chief's going into multiverses.
Could be. It depends, though, because, again, do they want to just keep it specific to Warner Brothers DT universe?
I think they will for a time, because they've got
branching out.
Tons of characters to bring to it. But when those characters start to dry up and they're all in the game, they're going to look beyond what they own and start doing deals elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think it'll be the fighting game which is very inspired by Fortnite and the amount of characters that are in there.
Yeah. That's a good point. Scott did say, I think Nickelodeon had a Smash Bros. Clone. You might be right, actually. I think they might have done, but it obviously went straight underneath people's noses and didn't really hit it off.
I can't remember what it was called, though.
Fanto says, I thought the license was $500 million usually, but FIFA asked for $1 billion. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. It is an obscene amount to pay for the FIFA license, and I don't blame EA for saying, fuck off. No. We'll just contact each individual teams and get the licenses to use their likeliness and their colours and strips and whatever, and do it that way, which will be far cheaper. And the teams get advertising as well from being in the game. So they'll create another one. It just won't have the FIFA name. And I don't think FIFA will ever find another developer that's going to be capable enough to bring out a football game that's going to be successful. FIFA's been successful.
Especially a developer that's willing to pay that price.
Yeah, FIFA, as much as people hate the changes it makes, and it does fuck up from year to year, and people like it one year and hate the next version, and they change it and then change it again and do things and mess it up a bit. As much as it does some wrongs, there is no other football/soccer game for the American fans that comes close to it. There's none. Konami had the best opportunity and they ruined it by going free to play. Ruined it.
What do they call it again? eFootball?
eFootball or something like that, yeah.
and it was a disaster.
It was, and that was because the previous iterations of PES didn't work out either. So, yeah, it's just a case of we'll wait and see who takes over, I suppose. Wait and see. But certainly very interesting anyway. Very interesting indeed. Dead Space gets a remake release date of January 2023. And Callisto
I'm looking forward to that.
Protocol, another one, is scheduled to release this year, I do believe December.
It's interesting.
Which is
the creator of that is the creator of Dead Space.
Yes. Callisto Protocol looks insane. Looks tremendous. Unfortunately, don't have any gameplay to show you all here. But Callisto Protocol is a proper horror again. We've been missing some actual horrors. We did need some. And I'm looking forward to kind of getting back into that kind of stuff again. Some actual horrors.
I love the first Dead Space though.
Yeah.
First Dead Space was amazing. Yeah. Such a standout game. Like the noises, especially when you're wearing headphones and the audio was done so well. Like the creaking of the ship you're on, like the metal moving. You can hear the scuttering of necromorphs moving around the inside of the ship, and you're hearing like the character just sort of mental breakdown throughout the game, and he's hearing whispers and all sorts.
Yeah,
it's such a great game.
Oh, it is
amazing.
I completely agree.
I was absolutely terrified when that game came out. I don't even remember how old I was, but I just remember playing it. It was one of the first proper horror experiences that I ever completed.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. I loved it. And I loved the second one too. Not as much as the first one, because the first one was just so unique and stand out.
Yeah.
And I never even bothered with the third one because they brought co-op to it. I kind of lost interest. As much as you could play that single player, it sort of didn't feel the same.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But, you know what it is? I am so glad that from what I've seen, from everything that I've seen from Dead Space so far in the remake, is that they're really leaving the game alone in most respects, and just making it look better, play better, sound better. They're just improving what was already a great game. No doubt they'll be adding a little bit more to it, but
yeah, I was about to say that. I think they said that they're keeping the core of the story all where it is, and they're just going to expand upon that a bit.
Yeah. Definitely.
I can't wait for that. I'm going to be picking that up as soon as it comes out.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And obviously for those who don't
that's a remake I can get behind.
Yeah.
Because playing the first game, going back and playing the first game does feel a bit clunky. So I can see why they've remade it.
Yeah.
But a remake like The Last of Us, I don't get that. That game still plays smooth to this day.
Yeah.
I don't find that game clunky at all. I played it the other night on my PS4 in my room, just to have a little blast on it.
Yeah,
and it plays perfectly. It doesn't need a remake. Not now, at least. Maybe in another 5-10 years, yeah, but it doesn't need it now.
That's fair. That's fair. Couple of questions from chat. Rabbit Quest says, opinions on the Walking Dead games. Do you like them? Do you not like them?
There's a lot of Walking Dead games out there. The Telltale ones.
Yeah.
The first series was amazing. Loved it. Found it hard to get into the second season. I don't think I even completed it. There was a Michonne spin-off season as well. I can't remember if I completed that, but I did get a significant way through that. Now, on the other hand, the AMC-inspired Walking Dead game, Survival Instinct, that thing can get in the bin. That was awful. Most of you probably don't even remember that game, but it's bad. There's also a VR game for the AMC TV series, which did bad as well. And then there's a VR game based on the comic, that's way better.
Yeah.
I hear good things about that. I haven't got a VR headset myself. I can't say whether it's good or not, but it looks pretty good.
Yeah. Well, definitely. It definitely looked good. You can't put past that.
And then there's another game, another first-person shooter game that came out on PC. It was so bad that they didn't even release the console versions of that game. They actually cancelled that game shortly after it came out on PC, and that was Overkills: The Walking Dead, and that was made by the people that made the Payday games.
Right.
Yeah, and I have no idea why that turned out so bad, because as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people love those Payday games and think they're amazing. So what went wrong with their Walking Dead game?
Yeah. God knows.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'd like to see a decently put together Walking Dead game, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, to be fair,
The only ones that have been good are the Telltale ones.
You know, I've never really liked those types. Now, I loved the original point and clicky adventure-y type games years ago, like the Monkey Islands, etc. But I never really got into the choice making games like the Telltale games, whether that be Walking Dead, whether that be Borderlands, Tales from the Borderlands, whether it be the Batman ones or the Game of Thrones ones. I just didn't get into them.
It's not so much the gameplay for me there, it's more the story. That's why I love those Telltale games.
That's fair enough. And apparently the Borderlands one was really cool. One of the best
I haven't
of the
played that one.
Telltales ones. So yeah, that was awesome.
Yep, I agree with you there, Fanto, sir. Walking Dead ship has sailed. I fully agree with that.
Yeah,
the main show is coming to a close. They're putting together a spin-off of that for Norman Reedus, and it's going to be set in Europe. And I'm sitting here thinking, how is he going to get to Europe? Is he just going to go and fly off like Superman and he's in Europe?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like there's going to be many planes around. I don't know. I just think they're desperate to do anything The Walking Dead nowadays and cling on to Norman Reedus for as long as possible.
Oh,
if I was Norman Reedus, I would have got out while I could.
Yeah.
Because I think they planned to originally do it in the US, the show, and then they switched gears and changed the story that Daryl's going to go off to Europe, and they wanted to have Melissa McBride, who plays Carol, be alongside him. And the plan was that she was going to be there, but
she's dropped out.
Then they changed the plan that it was going to be in Europe, and she dropped out because she couldn't commit to that, obviously.
Yeah.
It feels weird. Why? It doesn't need to be set in Europe. They could have done any other Walking Dead property with characters set in Europe. Why has Daryl got to be dragged to Europe?
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense, to be honest. I've watched up to, because I went through a binge of watching The Walking Dead again, and I got up to the end of season 10, and I was like, nope, done.
I'm pretty much caught up, and I can tell you now it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I kind of wished I'd stayed away from that show, but now that it's coming to a close, I might as well watch this next half of the season and be done with it. Maybe, just maybe, they figure out how to end that show in a good way, but I can't see it. The writing is dropped so bad in that show.
Yeah.
After season 7, the writing just went downhill.
Yeah, got to agree.
Should have ended the show back then. If you were that bored of the writing, you should have killed it off then.
Yeah. Barely making rent. See you later, brother. Enjoy your, I think you said it was anniversary, so enjoy your anniversary meal or whatever it is that you're doing. Have a good one, brother. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining. Now we can obviously talk about Halo, because I know you were trying to avoid that. So we've got a good chance to segment into Halo very shortly. Phanto says, I'm still watching it. I've started it, so I'll finish it. That's fair enough. Dig in till the end.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I lie.
One series that I'm looking forward to at the moment. One series and one series alone that I'm looking forward to right now. And that's Stranger Things Season 4. 100%. That looks absolutely insane. The trailer for it looks unbelievable. I cannot wait.
I'm staying away from the trailer because I know I'm going to watch it.
You will? Watch the trailer. Watch it.
I don't want to watch the trailer. That's the thing. I want to be surprised.
Watch it.
Maybe I will. Who knows?
Chris, I'm gonna put it on straight after this. You do it in the green room. You're gonna watch it. No, it does look absolutely insane. Like, I can't wait for it. They've definitely stepped it up a notch, and apparently the spend per episode was something along the lines of 30-40 million. And there's obviously
Bloody
two
hell.
sections of this. There's the part 1 of season 4, which is 27th of May, and I think there's another one in June or July or something like that.
And then they're ending the show with season 5, I think. And that's good. Don't overstay your welcome. Don't be the Walking Dead.
No, and do you know what it is? The way they've done the Stranger Things, and especially the gap they've left in it as well, because it's been a while. It makes you want more, and I loved it. I love the thing I like about Stranger Things as well, though, is the fact that it's got this 80s vibe going around with it. It's got that
I love that.
that old school Steven Spielbergy, like 80s mystery alien type thing going around, like they had with the likes of E.T. and Super 8. And I love both E.T. and Super 8. Both of them fantastic films, and Stranger Things just does that perfectly. I love it. I can't wait for the next one.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yes, indeed. Did they deviate from comics eventually? Or do you mean the Walking Dead? I think they still got comics. But yes, they did definitely
tie things in with the
deviate from
comics,
story.
but it's very different.
Yeah. It definitely deviated from the story. In the comics, anyway. But next up, it's time, Jen. This time. Halo Season 1 has come to a climactic end, leaving us on a smidge of a cliffhanger, with one of the Spartans anyway, and how she'll be in the next series. But Halo Season 1 review.
There's going to be spoilers here as well.
There's going to be a few spoilers, yes. So if anybody hasn't already caught up with Halo Season 1, apologies. If you're not that bothered, you're going to watch it anyway. Then yes. If you're not that bothered, you're going to watch it. Then feel free to continue listening, because you might have a different opinion to us in the end. But let's start from the very beginning. So the show started off pretty well.
Yep, it had a strong opening
episode. A lot of good fighting. There's a few questionable CGI moments. Overall, though, a good opening, a good start of the series.
The combat was amazing in the first episode.
Yeah, combat was good. It was good fun. It started to get more into getting Quan involved, and I think that dragged the first series down to a point that it shouldn't have. I've always
especially
said
when they had the entire episode focused on her, and I was just like, "Kill me now, please."
Yeah, I got my thing is my thing with the Quan section. I've said this all through the Halo Season 1. Is Quan feels like a Star Wars attachment to the Halo universe, which to me, didn't fit in. Right, didn't fit in at all.
Yeah. It's her story is more like an angsty teen coming of age thing, and it doesn't fit in with the rest of the vibe of the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that episode where it was focused on her.
And the thing is, I'll say about the Quan story is that the Quan segments, in terms of the fighting, the characters used in that particular section, the cinematography for those sections, etc., they weren't bad. But the problem I've got is it didn't fit in with the overall Halo universe. It felt like it was segmented away from Halo. It felt like a Star Wars universe.
Yeah, it felt weird. Like I couldn't explain what they were trying to do with her story and the surrounding of her character, and
yeah, it just felt like the Rebels. Weird. Just felt like a Rebel spy on like Rogue One. And I say this, Rogue One's one of my favorite Star Wars, if not pretty much the favorite Star Wars of them all. Love Rogue One, but it felt like a rebel spy type of thing, like going in and fighting for this and doing this, and she couldn't wrap her head around. And this is what another story arc that didn't make sense. She couldn't wrap her head around the fact that the entire universe could die because of the Covenant, and she's just like, "But I'm fighting the UNSC." Yeah, but no one cares. Like, even your dad didn't care in the end. He was like, "Okay, all right, we'll fight with the Spartans because these comes the Covenant."
It didn't make sense. Like, the opening of the episode, she watches her friends get obliterated by the Covenant. She watches her family when she makes it back to that compound, and all of the soldiers that are tied to her calls and her father's calls. She watches them all get slaughtered.
Yep.
Why is she still so bent out of shape over the UNSC? Yeah, they tried to kill her, but at the end of the day, the aliens are trying to kill you too.
Yeah.
Can't fight both of them. And the aliens are definitely going to kill you no matter what.
Yeah, they don't care. Like, actual human soldiers would probably have some form of empathy. The Covenant don't. Covenant do not care. They're just going to wipe you out.
The chief did. That's why he let her go.
Yeah.
And that was before he took out his inhibitor thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and Scott's got a good point there as well. Scott says they needed to move her story much quicker, and the fact that they're Forerunner AI on Madrigal could be an interesting point. I hope that they don't use that to shoehorn her back into the series, to be honest, because that would be a massive downgrade.
I think, like I said before, the best thing for them to do would be to ease her story out in the first couple of episodes of season 2.
Yeah.
And be done with her as a character. Because everyone, well, I wouldn't say everyone, but a large majority of the people that are watching this show can't stand the character.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do with the actress.
Yeah,
because she does a good job with the role she's in. It's the lazy writing around that character. It feels like she was a decision made very late in the show's like production.
Yeah.
And it feels like they've shoehorned it in.
Yeah.
To appeal to teenagers and that sort of teen novel drama sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she's always like angry as most teenagers are portrayed in these types of things.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fit with the overall vibe of the show.
Yeah, completely agree.
So they need to ease her story out and focus on another Spartan. They've got Kai in there.
I was going to say, because she's not a bad actress by any means, but she's got to drop the whole, I need to go after the UNSC stuff and start, if she's going to be in the series, and let's face it, because she probably will be, if she's going to be in the series, she needs to start having a story that's more aligned to the core focus, which is the fact that the Covenant are taking over, and she needs to start helping humanity destroy the Covenant in any way, shape, or form.
She needs to like put her differences aside with the UNSC.
Yeah, she needs to grow up. That's what she needs. Her character, not her. Her character needs to grow up and get with the focus. Like, humanity is going to get wiped out unless you start growing up quickly and understand.
Maybe they
UNSC are the least of your worries.
Maybe they could do something else with her character, like, I don't know, she enlists as a Marine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They could do something like that with her and enlist her as a Marine.
ODST.
And then her story isn't a focal point anymore. And then over the course of, I don't know, the series, maybe she becomes an important ODST or something like that.
Exactly.
Give her something more interesting than, I'm an angry teenager, I hate everyone.
Yeah. I think the one plus about the end of the Quan episode was that she's told essentially by the mystics on her land, you have a purpose that works with the UNSC, not against it. Like, your purpose is actually to aid them, not to fight against them.
Our purpose is to help the Blessed Ones, which is what Chief is.
Exactly. So she needs to start essentially going into that. She needs to start aiding them a little bit more. Now, what I want to talk about next is what I would consider a missed opportunity for a key character that they essentially hyped up in the advertisements, that I think wasn't utilized enough and was ultimately killed off at the end of season 1. McKee. Now, they showed off, if you remember rightly, they showed off McKee in the advertisements as bringing in the what do you call them again? The worms. Hunter worms.
The hunter worms.
Yeah,
can't
kind of
pronounce
summoned
the
the
actual
hunter
name of
worms
them.
that were floating around the ship, and she was this evil person, and I kind of expected more from her character arc and the way that it ended. And the fact that she's now out of the series entirely feels more like a missed opportunity to me. If she could summon hunters into battle, which is essentially what she was able to do, as part of her kind of force power, should we say, her mystic abilities.
So I don't know if that was their intentions there to make you feel like she was controlling them. I just think they were there, and she was sort of guiding them, maybe.
Yeah, listening to her commands.
Yeah.
But the fact that she had that ability anyway and had that authority within the Covenant, and of course at the end the Covenant were like, oh well, it's all right, we don't need her because we've got him, and now we can get the star map without blah 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 blah. But even still, it makes me feel like it was a really big missed opportunity from having McKee in there. I thought she was a good actress.
Yeah.
I thought she would have been a really good enemy.
I didn't mind the character McKee. I thought it was interesting to a degree, and it feels like they kind of rushed through the rest of her story pretty quickly at the end there.
Yeah, I mean, like,
It
she
felt
still,
like they could have told a bit more.
She was
with
so
her.
angry with humanity after what they did to her in episode 7. Or episode 8? Episode 8. And then the next episode, it was the end. And it was gone.
Like, earlier in the season, as we've been doing these sort of little breakdown things,
yeah,
I kind of assumed that she was going to be there till maybe the end of the show as a replacement for the Arbiter.
Yeah.
So that they've got a character that's not CGI'd the whole time. So it's a little less strenuous on the budget.
Yeah.
So now I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to do the Arbiter in season 2?
Hopefully. But you just never know. You never know. Boxenberger with a €2 super chat. What's up, beautiful gamers? Have a great show. Thank you, Boxy. Have a great day as well. Hope you had a lovely weekend. And of course, back again this week with a podcast. So I'll see you then. Fanto Sir, he said, got to go, fellas. Hope to see you on Sea of Thieves. For Sea of Thieves Tuesdays. Of course you will. Sea of Thieves Tuesdays.
Oui.
Been really enjoying that, to be fair. That's been awesome.
Yeah. Last Tuesday was probably my favourite experience on Sea of Thieves so far.
Yeah, it was intense. Again, another intense ending with a Kraken fight as well. So, it's been awesome.
That just came out of nowhere. No one was expecting it.
Yeah.
And that was my first experience fighting the Kraken and beating the Kraken. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
And a lot of loot, which was awesome.
There was a lot of loot. It must have took like 15 minutes for us to get all that loot put in.
At least. Maybe it's longer. If you have a look at the stream, it might have took longer.
And then the big fireworks show where you spent all of your in-game money on fireworks.
Yeah, I'll be doing it again next week. Don't you worry. We're going to do it at night time this time.
Yeah.
But no, it's been awesome, and I can't wait. Because obviously there's another update. There's another big update coming up soon. There's another adventure coming out soon. We're going to be going through a lot of the adventures on that as well soon. So you'll get to see what the other adventures are that are there. Because of course you did Flameheart the other week, which was like Indiana Jones. And that was awesome.
That was crazy.
So yeah, it's brilliant. And I think you've done Pirate's Life now, haven't you?
I have not. No, I've done
I'm gonna have to
a
get
couple of the missions.
Right. I have Mick to walk.
I did a few of them with Stu and Marion when it first came out.
Yes.
Pirate's Life.
But not all of them.
But I didn't complete it all, no.
Right, okay. We'll have to get that
I
done.
honestly can't even remember what happened in those first few missions.
We'll play
I
it.
kind of
Doesn't
need to
take
do it
too
more
long.
again.
It's maybe 2 sittings that'll get it all done, but it's good. It's good fun. But yes, back to Halo. Summarizing up Halo. So yeah, I thought McKee was a missed opportunity. It was a good way to go out there with Kai. And I think Scott's got a little comment on that as well. But I think it was a good indication there where Kai really comes into her own there, and she knows what she's got to do to break Chief out of this spell that he has, with her holding on to it, and that was to kill McKee. Otherwise, they'd lost Chief. So obviously McKee then dies.
Yeah. I was surprised, to be honest. I kind of saw it coming in that episode, but at the same time, I was still surprised that they did it because I felt like she had more story.
She definitely did. I was expecting a bit more of a revenge cycle for her in the second season, like after being burned by humanity when she was actually trying to help them in the end. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. He said, "I wish the prophets killed her rather than Kai, to show how the prophets despise humans. I'm glad she's gone. I hated the whole human raised by the Covenant point." That's fair enough. I think a lot of people do as well because they wanted to be a little bit more.
Yeah, I was more mixed with that. It was the thing that they tried to do with the chief and make this relationship between the two of them that felt off to me.
Yeah.
So that's sort of where I kind of lost that with her character. I kind of felt misplaced.
Yeah. And I think as it stands as well, Chief in this series, at least so far, I don't think he's really enhanced his reputation with the Covenant as being demon. Or the demon. I don't think he's done enough really to kind of put the fear into the Covenant right now. Like the only time he actually did something that started to get badass against the Covenant, really, and that final episode was when Cortana took him over.
Yeah, that's something that feels weird to me as well. Like the fact that it wasn't Chief and it was Cortana.
Cortana doing the killing.
Yeah, all the action there was cool, and it was the most Master Chief moment we've had in the show.
I mean, I did like the fights with the what do you call them? Not elites. Not brutes either.
The brutes.
Brutes, yeah, they were like brute chieftains. All of them had big hammers.
Yeah, one of them had the spiker gun, which was pretty cool.
Yes, yeah. So it was nice to see that. But the whole takeover thing, and it is a nice end to it, to be honest, because you're like, is Chief alive? Is he ever going to come back? Is it Cortana that's just going to control him going forwards? Like, how is this going to play out? And then, of course, in that section, you've also seen a grievously injured Spartan in there. I keep forgetting her name because she's not really played a front and center role.
Riz? Is it Riz?
Riz, yeah. Not really played a front and center role yet, but she gets decimated by a grenade, a plasma grenade, which sticks to her, and you've got like open rib cages everywhere and like really badly injured.
That reminds me of something that happens to, I think it's Linda of Blue Team in the book, Fall of Reach.
Right.
Something happens with her where she has to like go into cryo until they can get her fixed and back to fighting strength.
Yeah.
And it's like sort of led to believe that she died, but she didn't.
Yeah.
Because that's the Easter egg on the first Halo with the other Spartan. That's on the board. That's Linda. That she's on the Pillar of Autumn with Chief.
Yeah.
But obviously she's injured and in cryo status and can't be thawed out like Chief did.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes you wonder, like, what's going to happen there in terms of the Spartans. Is she going to come back to fighting? Is she going to be out?
I think they'll probably bring her back at some point. They kind of have to. These are basically Blue Team.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're called Silver Team here, and they're they're completely different characters, but they have elements of Blue Team. Obviously, Kai is more themed upon Linda with the sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Vanek is more akin to Fred, the big hulking Spartan.
Vanek's
He's bigger
my
than Chief.
favourite of them all, to be fair. Apart from Kai, because I actually really like Kai. I like the way she's been portrayed. I like her side story. I like how she's trying
Other
to
than Chief, she's probably my favourite character.
Yeah. I just like the fact that Vanek is an absolute beast. I think he could have portrayed the fact that he was an absolute beast a little bit more in the last episode. He got taken out pretty quick.
It's hard to say with Riz though as a Spartan because she hasn't really had her own sort of moment yet. Like, Vanek has had his sort of one-liners.
Yes.
Kai's had her like whole sort of tear with her emotions since she removed her inhibitor.
And starting to get back into full combat spirit. And she was essentially the one that saved them all in the last episode. Without her fighting and keeping Chief alive, etc., they would have all been wiped out.
That's why I'm saying that they should do away with Quan.
Yeah.
And focus on her story. She's way more interesting of a character than Quan.
Yeah. Yeah. And a quick shout out to Scott there. He's on his way out, so thank you for stopping by, Scott. He says, really need to have a proper discussion about the show, though. I don't know anybody else who's watched the whole thing. Yeah, we've been watching it week in, week out, discussing it week in, week out, so we're always up for a discussion on it.
Yeah, if you're ever on when we're playing Halo, just jump in. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Yes, definitely. But overall, let's get to the end here. Overall impressions on Season 1 so far and where they can go for Season 2. For me, I would probably give it, if we're going to go by ratings, a 7 out of 10. It's a good adaptation. And people have got to realise as well, specifically with first seasons, they're never always the most polished of things. And that goes for every show. If you have a look back at the first season of Vikings, you can see that the budget was much lower compared to what it is by the end of the series. If you have a look at the first Game of Thrones, exactly the same thing. If you have a look at every first series from every show, you can see where the budget is far smaller.
It's the pilot season. They all have a lower budget.
Yeah.
It's a test to see if it does well, and then they come back second season with a bigger budget, and then a third season with an even bigger budget, and so on for however many seasons they last, unless it's The Walking Dead because it's terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, it's 7 out of 10 for the first series for me. Pablo Schreiber said, if you think if you enjoyed the first season, we're only just getting started. It only gets better from here. Obviously, he's going to shout out at the rooftops because he's Master Chief. But
I mean, like most shows, they don't get renewed until after the fact.
Yeah,
this got renewed before, so that tells me they've got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
With this season, and they obviously see big things coming from this show. Otherwise, they wouldn't have renewed it.
Yes, exactly. And it's what it is. Some of the fight scenes have been absolutely awesome. We need more of them. We need a lot of more large.
Definitely.
What we need really in Season 2 is more large scale war where you've got a mixture of ODST, Spartans, and Marines all going into a big fight. Against the Covenant. You need that when it goes on to Halo because essentially, and specifically in the Halo games, there's been sections where you go through cities and they've got giant walkers and there's everybody's jumping in. The Marines, the ODSTs, the Spartans are all fighting alongside each other. And throughout every Halo game, it's always been the case. We had one episode where it was like that, episode 5. It was Spartans and Marines and everybody getting together, and it was a big fight and ships getting crashed into, and Master Chief riding a what was it? It wasn't a ghost.
Warthog.
It was a wraith or something.
Banshee.
Yeah, Banshee. That was the one. A Banshee into a giant wraith. And it was an awesome combat scene there. And then of course it's episode 9 as well with its awesome combat scene. But out of
the combat scenes are amazing.
9 episodes, we had 3 fighting scenes with the Chief.
Yeah, when the fighting scenes are there, it really does feel Halo.
Yeah.
And if they can push more of that into the show in the coming season, and I fully expect them to do that because as the episode ends with the Chief basically getting both the artifacts back off of the Covenant,
Yeah.
and then leaving that Covenant planet, that holy world of theirs. You know the Covenant are going to come back for that. They know where Reach is now because McKay. So they're going to... The Fall of Reach is going to be basically Season 2. I think the majority of Season 2 is going to be Fall of Reach.
Yeah.
Maybe we see some more Spartans other than Silver Team.
And
maybe we see Noble
Team. They have
Team.
the artifact now and the ability to get the map and find Halo. But there's obviously going to be some twists and turns there.
Yeah, I fully expect to see Spartan Freeze in the next season.
Yeah.
I think we'll see maybe a little bit of Noble Team. Not too much, because I think maybe they could introduce Noble Team and then do a spin-off.
Yeah.
Where it's more focused on the Fall of Reach and Noble Team as everything's going down.
It begs the question, though, when are we likely to see Season 2? Because it's not officially released in the UK until June.
Have they started filming?
Yes.
Or are they close to starting filming Season 2?
Yeah.
I can't even remember when the air date was for this. 9 weeks ago was...
It's probably going to be next year, isn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah, probably be a year from when the first episode aired.
Yeah. It depends on how quickly they've done it and how quickly they've already moved through it. We don't know. And obviously, if Pablo Schreiber's saying just you wait until you see Season 2, that says to me that they've already definitely begun work on it, because otherwise, how would he know? Unless, obviously, he's read the script, but if he hasn't seen it or recorded some of it, then he wouldn't know how it's turning out either.
Yeah, he's probably read through all the scripts. They'll obviously change things on the fly like they do with most TV shows and films. But he's obviously seen the script. They've probably had this script written for a while.
Yeah.
A long while.
Unless,
and they're
you never
probably
know,
just
they
going
might
to
have
change
already
some stuff.
been through it and recorded it all, and they're just spending more time polishing it up before they release it. Obviously, they've got, like I say, they've got the UK's
Possibly,
release in June. So we'll see.
When do you think we'll see Halo, though? Because I don't think we'll see Halo until the end of next season.
Oh, no, I think we'll see it before that.
I don't know. I've got a feeling that they're going to sort of focus more on this Fall of Reach. I think the first maybe episode or two will be like the beginning of Fall of Reach.
Right.
Maybe not so much in the first episode, but that'll happen towards the end of that first episode, where we'll see the Covenant finally. They're on Reach's doorstep, basically. And I think because it's 10 episodes, or 9 or 10 episodes, they'll drag that out a bit, put a bit more combat in there throughout the season, and then end the show with basically Reach being messed up beyond all recognition, and the Pillar of Autumn either leaving Reach or whatever. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. I feel like they will drag it out, though.
Yeah.
I think they could even go as far to drag Halo out for a few seasons more before we see it.
I would hope not. I would hope not, because I want to see the big battles in Halo.
I'd hope not as well, but I've got a feeling they could.
Yeah. Because I want to see, if you ever remember back to the first Halo Combat Evolved, when they're dropping onto the ring for the first time, and it's a bit like a beach landing in like Saving Private Ryan, where everybody's going on and they're all trying to fight and get through the... I want to see some epic battle like that on Halo. A bit like the beach landing scene.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could see it at the end of next season, or maybe mid-season. I don't know, but I feel like they could drag it out if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could. I would hope they don't, though. I would hope they don't.
I think they might drag it out to where humanity are more desperate to find Halo and get to Halo over maybe the next season. If they decide to drag it out longer than that, who knows?
I was going to say, because it's going to come a point where fans will get restless and say, well, it's Halo, but there is no Halo in this Halo.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to try and avoid, because there's obviously there's a lot of fans disgruntled with the way certain things are done already, and I think they want that rectified to a point. They're not going to mirror it exactly, because...
It's more a feeling I have that we haven't seen humanity yet to the point where they're so desperate to defeat the Covenant.
Yeah.
We've only seen one piece of the show focus on a planet that was destroyed by the Covenant.
Yeah.
I expect maybe that we'll see a few more other planets get decimated before we get to
possibly.
Halo.
Quite possibly. What's your overall impressions then of the first series?
It had its ups and downs.
Yep.
There's some stuff I didn't go much on. Like, a lot of the politics stuff felt out of place in certain situations.
Yep.
Especially with the fact that you've got this alien force and you're having a few petty squabbles over some stupid stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar with the Quan stuff, with her being bitchy towards the UNSC.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. There's a bigger threat out there and you're all arguing over some petty stuff. Those things I think they can iron out in season 2.
Yeah.
I still think they should get rid of Quan. Not forcibly, not like a forcibly exit. Don't write her off behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like it didn't happen. Basically, do that or let her walk off into the sunset to never be seen again.
Yeah, give her a glorious death.
Probably going to say I agree with you around it being a 7, maybe a 6.5.
I think if they can improve a lot of the CGI elements that still look a little bit rough.
CGI isn't my issue.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. It's a TV show. CGI is not going to be great. Look at the She-Hulk series. The CGI is not great there.
Yeah. But
I'm still going to watch it, and it's still probably going to be a great show.
Yeah.
So the CGI is not my issue. It's more the writing. Some of it can come across cheesy. There's a few lines in there that can come across cheesy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'd say it's between a 6.5 and a 7, the first season. Like you've said, it's with most shows with their pilot seasons, there's teething issues. And those teething issues get resolved in their following seasons. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of good potential here, especially after this final episode and the sort of cliffhanger we got left on. Yes, I'm sort of torn between this Cortana taking over Chief situation. I still think that's odd.
Yeah.
But it's different. And it's still interesting enough for me to want to keep watching.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's a lot of potential there. And I think season 2 is going to fix a lot of the issues that we've all got with the show.
Yeah, definitely.
They kind of have to. If they care about the fan feedback, which I believe they do, then some of these issues will be mopped up and we'll get a great show for season 2.
Yeah. Yeah. And that has been an awesome show. Awesome show once more.
Mm-hmm.
A nice little Sunday afternoon podcast. As we both love it.
Yeah, just a nice chill one.
Nice chilled one, as always. As always. It's a little bits of news, but we all wrap it up into a nice little bite-sized chunk for everybody.
Yeah, it's been kind of quiet with the news again. I've not really noticed any big sort of news that I needed to focus on.
Yeah,
it's been quiet.
Quiet
obviously
before the storm.
It's
quiet before
it's going to get. It's probably going to get a little bit more quiet leading up to next month.
I would say next week until we're probably going to get some leaked rumors coming up with the showcase season. I'm hoping to hear sometime soon what Sony's plans are.
Isn't there a rumor that they're going to have a show next month as well?
There is. I would expect them to have it next month, if not July. So yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we hear more about that. But yeah, you're right. It's going to get quieter before it gets busier. But it's
It's
quite
always
before the
darkest
storm.
before dawn.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, awesome once more. Thank you to everybody who jumped in today and joined the chat. And for those listening on demand, I hope you enjoyed the show as well. Of course, make sure you leave a like, share, and subscribe if you don't already. And of course, hit the notification bell to make sure you know when we go live next. Of course, as always, we are back live again on Tuesday for Sea of Thieves Tuesdays, or Sea of Tuesdays, which is awesome. It's always good fun. There's always a good group of us playing that as well. So if you want to either take part or even just join in and watch the stream and watch the shenanigans that go down, feel free to. It is a good fun. Even whether you're watching or playing, it's always a good time.
Yeah, we usually have 2 ships.
Yeah.
So there's always a bit of extra room.
Yeah. Wednesday, of course, Midweek Mix-Up Podcast proper returns as well. We had the week off this week due to myself. And last but not least, due to, of course, then having a little bit low numbers to do it any other day. So it is what it is, but we return. But I'm looking forward to both of those. Probably have another Flight Sim video out again on Thursday. Either the P40 or the P38 Lightning. I haven't decided yet. Might be changing that up a little bit as well in the way that it's presented, because at the moment you just get gameplay, but I might actually start dropping some information about those planes on there as well, and for those who don't know what those planes are about or their history. So yes,
that'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be cool.
It has been awesome as always. You can find me, of course, everywhere at WandrinDutch. And of course, Twitter at WandrinDutch. Drop a follow, drop a like, drop a subscribe. But Jen, where can people find you and what you've got going on?
Usually I'm streaming on Twitch throughout the week. Tomorrow I should be streaming at 4 p.m. according to my schedule.
Yes.
Hopefully I'm on time. I usually start early though, so I'm usually starting a little bit earlier but who knows? Life can sometimes get in the way, like it did over the last few weeks, and I had to change my schedule a bit.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'm back to a mainstream schedule this week. Streaming Black Mesa tomorrow around 4 p.m. Then Hunt Showdown on Tuesday. Wednesday I take a break. I might be on the Wednesday show, right? I think.
Yeah.
Likely. So I'm on the Wednesday show, the main midweek mix-up show.
Yeah.
And then Thursday I'm streaming again, Hunt Showdown. And then Friday I take off. Saturday I stream Resident Evil at 8 p.m. GMT time. And then back here on Sunday.
Woo!
So that's where I am. You can find me on my Twitch and Twitter at _general_C.
Awesome.
Been doing a lot of updating to get my Twitch channel sort of looking, I guess, more branded and streamlined to a specific color set. There's pinks and purples in there. They're my sort of favorite colors, mostly purple. So yeah, it's all coming together.
Yes, it is. Slowly,
I'm enjoying myself.
Yes, that's what matters. As long as you keep enjoying yourself, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and I may or may not be streaming Multiverses tomorrow as well. So depends on if I get that code.
Yes, so keep an eye out for that. Other than that, guys, it's been a blast as always. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. For those again watching on demand or just tuned in at the end here, of course, scroll back to the beginning. You can watch it kind of from the start and up until now. If you've got any comments, and you've joined the stream a little bit late, but got any comments from the show, you got any points that you want to make, drop a comment down below. We'll be sure to answer them. Both of us potentially sure to answer them afterwards anyway, if you kind of disagree or agree with our points, whatever it is. We'll have some good discussions. But until next week, guys, see you all soon. Enjoy some gaming tonight, and have a good one. See you all later.
Take it easy, chat.
Goodbye.
See you next week.